Hey, it's been a while since we've done one of these news episodes.
Yes, let's catch you up.
Starting with Cyberpunk 2077.
But why?
For starters, it fucking came out.
Congratulations on doing your job.
Sure, it died so hard on launch day that Sony had to pull it from the PlayStation Store, while investors looked to the ropes as the developers and modders scrambled to fix the game through 1,000,000,001 patches, until it became a VIDJAS. I liked it. I played it on the Xbox One, which was probably the worst version, but I still had a good time. I liked being a socially inept ninja running around just slicing everybody up and running away with my robot legs. However, since a badonkadonk of dev time went into fixing Cyberpunk, updated versions of The Witcher 3 got pushed back to Q4 2020 dose, and I guess as a consolation prize, they did drop that strategy roguelike out of nowhere, which is pretty neat for the people who like that sort of thing. I, for one, will just leave it to slicing up people on the streets of Night City, like a gentleman. Also, the story DLC leaked. I'm not going to tell you what they are, but they're there if you want to go find them. And there's a Weeb cartoon. Don't ask my opinion on Weeb cartoons. I only like the normie shit and Lupin the Third.
Ah, the old exploding bear trap in the ass trick.
And before any weebs get excited, I mean normie shit as in like Studio Ghibli and that Cowboy Beep Boop. Not the Netflix one, the one with the, you know, the cool movements. Yeah, that one.
I want you to fuck me up. I mean, I want you to make me your bitch. Your little pee-pee piss myself bitch.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
The only question I have post-Cyberpunk hype is what is CD Projekt Red gonna do with the IP now? I know what I'd want to see, like a tactics RPG, like Zero Mutant Road to Eden. That shit was dope. Do that style of gameplay in Night City, you got a winner. Next on the cold open docket, Breath of the Wild 2.
Woo, nobody gives a shit.
Got pushed back to 2023. Underwhelming trailer. This is my white whale that I'm slowly giving less of a shit about. Do us all a favor, Mr. Nintendo Moto. Remake the Minish Cap. I don't want to go to the playground and steal Billy's Game Boy Advance SP to play it. Put that shit on the Switch. Last thing, fucking Arthur ended?
Say
After 25 years of crack deals, scams, and arson, the show is finally coming to an end.
Arthur! Sorry I'm late. I had all these stories to read.
Oh no, what did they do to my boys? They massacred my boys. Why does Arthur look like Peanut Butter Gamer who gave up harder on life? Hi, I'm Ozlo, and this is Games Journalism. Bottomm Text, the only show that puts journalistic integrity in no journalistic integrity.
First time shooting a shotgun. Hey Nick, don't miss, please.
Oakley dokley boys and derricks, here's how this is gonna work. We're gonna run through the good, the bad, and the funny in no particular order because it's my video.
I like turtles.
I feel like it's been a good while since we just pointed and laughed on this show. Oh hi Rockstar Games, how are you? Terrible? Awesome. Let's start with the 16-ton shit-shaped elephant called the GTA Rebastards. Moral of the story, I hope you kept your PS2 copies, and I know everyone's already covered and laughed and made the memes. And we're still feeling the fallout from the dumpster fire. What casualty should we start with first? We might as well start with the most tragic victim, Red Dead Redemption 2.
It's man, so in love with greed, he has forgotten himself and found only appetites.
Next gen port, totally shit canned. Support for Red Dead Online, despite being an awesome cowboy simulator with your boys, dead in the water. Remasters or remakes of GTA 4 and Red Dead Redemption 1, shelved until GTA 6 comes out.
That f***ing sucks. Yeah?
All hands on deck for that project so we can make more money than God and anime combined. And I don't really care what GTA 6 is gonna be, it just needs to do one thing to sell me. Have the drug dealing minigame from Chinatown Wars. If I'm supposed to be some criminal badass, I want to be able to sell crack to old lady Jenkins. What other greedily stupid things have Rockstar been up to? GTA Plus? Hell yeah!
What the fuck is this shit?
Are you a little cretin that plays way too much Grand Theft Auto Online?
Perhaps.
And has a next-gen console, and has stolen a Guardian's credit card information so they can pay $5.99 a month?
You betcha.
For a bunch of useless bullshit that doesn't enhance the enjoyment of the game, you just want to give Rockstar more money for shiny bullshit? Me? No, I'm not bitter about GTA Online's impact on the industry. Fuck no! While editing this video, the GTA 6 rumor mill spun out of fucking control, and a lot of wacky things started flying out. The thingamabob that's most interesting to me is the Hispanic Bonnie and Clyde protagonist angle, and how a lot of people become butthurt babies on the internet, saying that Grand Theft Auto 6 is gonna be woke as shit. And I don't want to be that dumbass white guy on the internet, but in the last game you played as a black guy, Chinatown Wars, you were a Chinese man. 4, you were everyone's favorite Slav, Nico Bellic.
Life is complicated. I never thought I'd live like this.
No?
When the war came, I did bad things. And after the war, I thought nothing of doing bad things. I killed people, smuggled people, sold people.
And you don't worry about your soul?
After you walk into a village, and you see 50 children, all sitting neatly in a row against the church wall, each with their throats cut and their hands chopped off, you realize that the creature that could do this doesn't have a soul.
Nico, it's Roman. Let's go bowling.
The point I'm trying to make, if they're well-written characters, which Rockstar's really good at, we shouldn't be fucking worried. In terms of wokeness-rooting satire, if you're playing Grand Theft Auto for its deep intellectual satire, you're kind of fucking stupid. It's a game where you could run people over and burn them and blow them up and shit. It's not the Greek Forum, my guys. Hey, do you boys know that Elden Ring came out?
Holy shit, I'm gonna come.
Well, it did, and it's pretty good.
You're goddamn right.
It's not my favorite Soulsborne, it's number 3 on my tier list. Nothing's ever topping Bloodborne.
What are you, fucking gay?
But Elden Ring is that open world Dark Souls with the jumpy horse that we all wanted. And when a new FromSoft game releases, it's a magical time in the industry. On all fronts. You got everybody playing it, learning the lays of the land, finding the secrets, knowing the ways to beat the red dog in the academy. That thing can get fucking bent.
Fuck this shit! Came in this fucking room and everything went fucking bad. Fuck this shit, man.
And then you got the journalist crying or asking the question, should these Dark Souls games have an easy mode? No, because that's fucking dumb. If you wanted an easy game, you should hop back down to Putt Putt Joins the Parade.
Great! Now I just have to find a balloon and I'll be ready for the parade.
And it's one thing to have a games journalist cry, that's what they're gonna do. It's another thing for other developers to cry, especially if you're the quest designer behind Horizon Forbidden West.
You are a pussy with a capital vagina.
A game so boring that anesthesiologists have started using it in surgeries.
How embarrassing.
And then you have the developers, Miyazaki, making a shit ton of money. Also, all those Dark Souls lore channels are gonna be eating good for the next, decade, I reckon.
Yeah, that actually checks out.
Now, I'm wondering where FromSoft goes from here. My guess is obviously they're gonna do some Elden Ring DLC, but in terms of a new game, they could do Elden Ring 2. I don't see them making a Dark Souls 4. However, a Sekiro 2 could be possible. Or they could do Armor Core. That would be the bee's knees and the cat's pajamas. Before we talk about companies buying other companies, let's have some more good news first. We're getting a new Monkey Island.
It's gonna get good.
Ignore those other new Monkey Islands, because this one's made by Ron Gilbert, published by Devolver Digital, and it's coming out this year? Hell yeah, now we got business. Alrighty, now let's talk about corporations buying companies or fucking business talk for business dorks. Primarily because it's been a scarily common trend, especially this year. We got the biggest boy in the room, Microsoft buying the shit show that is Activision Blizzard, for the chump change of $68.7 billion. What? That's 17 times how much Adam Sandler has made over his film career. And what are they really getting out of the deal? Big fish like Call of Duty, Diablo, World of Warcraft, StarCraft, King, the Dorkensteins behind the Candy Crush. They're also getting gaming's deadest meme, Overwatch. But I Ozlo, I hear Timmy cry out from the back like a bitch. Overwatch 2 has the potential to be... Shut the fuck up, Timmy. Nobody asked you. Go back into the basement where you fucking belong. First off, Blizzard had this bastard child in the oven for 4 years, and this is all they have to show for it. A couple maps, a new hero that doesn't even look interesting. There's also Junker Queen.
Welcome to the apocalypse.
Know your fucking place, trash.
Overly designed reworks of previous heroes. Like, why'd you fucking ruin Doomfist? He was awesome!
Hate this fucking shit!
Cutting the player count to 5v5 is a dumb move. The game was originally balanced for 6v6. Lazily chopping it down is just gonna fuck all the balancing. And it shouldn't take an idiot and some dumbass internet video to tell you that. Blizzard, if you're watching this, you're not watching this. They don't care. They're snorting cocaine in their giant fort of money. And I only get so upsetty spaghetti about Overwatch because at one point I really did like the game.
What?
But after playing 500 hours of Reinhardt because no one else wanted to play a tank, and the community is just begging for updates, anything, Jeff Kaplan waddles out into a video and goes, "You guys should be nicer to each other." That's when I stopped playing the game hardcore, and then they added Hamtaro and I just dropped the game completely. It's going free to play, which just seems like it's going out to be sent to die. It's got to compete against Fortnite, Apex Legends, Roblox, other free games that take up a lot of people's time. I think Overwatch would make a pretty good movie, but a gutted down free to play version of its former self, that ain't it, Chief. I'll be popping my popcorn when shit hits the trash fire on October 4th. Should be a good time. Sony's also stepping into the mergers and acquisitions fight club, which I guess makes this the lamest reboot of the console wars. Which reminds me, I need to upgrade my PC. They bought Bungie for a cool $3.6 billion reduce.
Okay.
Which, okay. And I don't see what Sony could really do with Bungie outside of milking Destiny even more. And I stopped giving a shit about Destiny a long time ago, although people have been bullying me to play the game, and I have it installed on my computer now because I'm a weak-willed bitch boy.
Correct.
We also have Square Enix wanting to join Sony in their game of dumbass businessmen, who sold basically their entire Western talent to some shadow organization, we'll get to them later, for what seems like the Walmart low price of $300 million.
What the fuck are you on about?
And I only say that's low because look what they got in the deal. Legacy of Kain. Everyone's favorite mascot platform from the 90s, Gex.
Wow, that sounds fun.
Lady Uncharted.
Well, that's unfortunate because it sucks ass.
And the Wombo combo on top of this Sunday, Thief.
Yes.
And motherfucking Deus Ex. It is a strong possibility that we might get a continuation of the Adam Jensen games and another good Thief game, which my bar is really, really low. I think Thief 3 is really good.
Fucking idiot.
Just don't do Thief 4. Do the right thing. So I guess that means all Squeenix is left with is all the cape shit. All 2 games worth of cape shit.
Every Marvel film ranked in 6 seconds. They're all equally shit. Grow up, you fucking virgins.
That Avengers live service nightmare, where the main cast probably looked at the pitch, said, "This is shit," didn't want to be involved, so they cast their porn parodies instead. And that one Guardians of the Galaxy game I totally forgot existed. And I played it! I guess that's what we call a lasting impression.
Just kill me.
Do you boys remember the shadow organization I mentioned earlier?
No.
Well, I'm bringing them back in now. They're a blob of horrors beyond man-made comprehensions known as the Embracer Group, and they own a butt ton of studios and IPs. Some of the noticeable ones are Coffee Stain, Gearbox, Deep Silver, so if I need to bug somebody on Twitter for a Metro 4, it's those guys. Wrapping up business time.
Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. It's over.
Who got finessed the hardest? Which big company got bamboozled? I'm no financier. I'm no crypto bro. I'm no Michael Pachter. Is that the money guy from GT? If anyone remembers game trailers. I'm not old. I swear to God. I'm young. I'm hip with the kids. Point I'm trying to make, Derek's. Sony done goofed. If one of the big motifs from this year is big business doing big business, then another theme would be Sony fucking up at every corner. So we might as well talk about PlayStation Plus Rebooted.
Buckle up, boys.
And before we get too deep into this, if you could just humor an old man and jump into my flashback Ford Focus for a minute, I promise I'm not gonna kidnap you We're just gonna go back in time for a second. Back to the days of the PS3.
I remember the good old days.
Where multiplayer was just this free thing that you got, and it was neat. Then came the PS4, where you had to pay money for online multiplayer. Oh, but you got a couple free games for it. So? And now to play catch up with Xbox Game Pass. Sony's done its weird half-ass knockoff. PlayStation Plus, rebooted. The basics are, it's a subscription service with 3 levels. Level 1 is the essentials. You get access to the monthly games, discounts, and multiplayer. It's what you've been paying for since the PS4. Wow, fucking innovation.
It broke new ground!
Kevin Butler would be so proud of you, dorks. And that's $10 a month or $60 for a year. Moving up to level 2, you get everything in level 1, plus access to the game catalog, we'll get to that, and the Ubisoft Classics. Is there anything good in the Ubisoft Classics? Scott Pilgrim vs. the World the Game, Valorant Hearts, both Rayman Origins and Legends, From Dust, and the best Splinter Cell game, which all gentlemen and scholars know is Chaos Theory. Access to both catalogs and the previous rewards are going to cost you $15 a month or $100 a year. Last tier, the premium tier, which when I read the description, I thought it was the best written satire in the games industry this year. It's not. For $18 a month or $120 a year, you get access to everything we just talked about and demos.
Isn't ready to hear that shit.
Fucking demos. The things that would come in a cereal box or in your Pizza Hut pizza.
You're only 15. You've never left Wisconsin.
But the cheese and the folding and...
No.
There's also cloud saving. Why charge for that? It's really hard to go against the best deal in gaming when you look like the greediest fuckers in the room. Hopefully, most people aren't dumb enough to pay that price, and they'll just get the level 2 tier and call it quits. Because most people who are buying into this service are gonna care about the library of games that come with it. And I'm not gonna lie, there are some certified bangers. The director's cut of Norman Reedus and the Funky Fetus, Empire of Sin, Enter the Gungeon, Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, also known as the best Far Cry.
What's with the needle, Doc?
Listen, this will make you more like Sloane. Powerful, but without the side effects.
No, Doc. No way. I swore an oath to a special lady.
Your wife?
No. Lady Liberty. She taught me that winners don't use drugs.
Doubt.
One of the most underrated RPGs of our time, Kingdom Come Deliverance. Another good RPG in the catalog, Pathfinder Kingmaker. Prey 2017, one of my favorite games from last gen. And the most certified of all the bangers, Bloodborne. Outside of that list though, nothing jumps out at me as I have to play that right now. Something that Xbox Game Pass is very good at. Moral of the story, if you have good games, put them on your service. This shit isn't rocket science, Sony.
Might as well blow up a cotton candy stand.
I know I mentioned them in the cold open, but I want to go back to CD Projekt Red real quick, because they announced Witcher 4, which is a no-shit move. After the debacle that was the Night City riots of Cyberpunk, it was obvious CDPR was going to go back to the well of The Witcher. The weird thing is, it's going to be using Unreal Engine 5, dropping the Red engine, which kinda sucks. Seems like a lot of wasted time and money just to leave it in Cyberpunk. But then again, I'm not a video game smart guy, I'm just an asshole who makes fun of them on the internet. And a fun little side note, a bunch of CDPR talent left to go make their own game studio with blackjack and hookers in it.
Squirtle, I choose you!
2022's also been a pretty busy year for Pokemon. Disclaimer off the top, I don't give a shit about Pokemon. I haven't really cared about Agumon and all of his homies since Diamond and Pearl. Although I did give Sword and Shield the good old community college try, but that game's rough, boys. And I was waiting for Pokemon Gun to come out. Instead we got Legends Arceus, and I can't think about Arceus without thinking about just an RPG.
I love... Just do it! Just fucking do it!
If you know, you know. I'm not gonna say it here, but if you know, you know.
Yeah, there's some sickos out there.
And in Pocket Morty's Arceus, I don't fucking know. I've had some weeb nerd explain it to me. He calls it an isekai, and I don't understand it. The closest comparison I came to is the cinematic is the cinematic masterpiece of King and King. God, I got through it this time. Is the really good movie A Kid in King Arthur's Court?
There we go. That was an ordeal.
I totally forgot what I was fucking on about. Oh yeah, Weeb Monster Rancher. The gameplay can be described as different and existing. But if you want a more normie Pokemon game, we got 2 new ones coming out. They're called Scarlet and Violet. It takes place in Spain, and I'm a shallow, cynical son of a bitch, so I like to judge these new Pokemon games on their starters alone. And here we are, boys and derricks. I give you the freshman class. Greenie, a baby dinosaur who saw the horrors of war. And a posh Donald Duck. Other features coming to Pokemon stabbing and violence is an open world, which all it needs to do to succeed is be better than the shitty wild areas from Sword and Shield. I'm not holding my breath, boys, but anything is possible. They're also adding 4-player co-op because every game needs 4-player co-op for some reason. And the games are coming out November 16th, so that'll be the day that we either see Nintendo get praised or a bunch of man babies are gonna neck. Either way, should be a good time.
And now for something completely different.
Yeah, I don't really give a shit about those Pokemanes. However, I am a gentleman of the people, and I do love me a good time, so I obviously love Postal. Yeah, even the movie.
I never wrote anything about killing everybody with bird flu.
Not precisely. But when I read between the lines, I felt confident that that's what you meant. Which brings us to you, Mr. Van Troyer.
If he wrote anything about me in that Bible, we're gonna have some serious problems.
And you shall know when the final day of reckoning begins, because on that day a tiny entertainer will be raped by 1,000 monkeys.
It's a cinematic masterpiece.
I'm owning it.
And 2020 Part 2 has been a pretty good year for Postal. The big one, Postal 4 finally crawled its way out of early access. Should it have come out? No, but we couldn't miss that 4/20 release date and the Boomer Shooter spin-off Postal Brain Damage. I did a shitpost review for it, link will be in the description down below. On top of that, we're getting a retrospective documentary of the whole series. It's called Goin' Postal, Legacy Foretold. Here's a trailer.
It is impossible for me to go into every home and do what every parent should be doing.
Indeed.
Now I want to talk about everything that happened in June, also known as the totally not E3 season. At least E3's coming back in some capacity. Because as cool as some of these announcements were, I missed the corporate cringe and the meme-tastic press conferences.
Woo!
Okay, baby, how you doing?
I've been good. You still recovering from that butt whooping?
Wow, already starting. Okay.
All we really had was Jeff Peely's Summer of Games thing.
All right, well, one way as a community, one gay,
and a small handful of webinars. I'm just gonna hit you, Derricks, with the highlights.
Nobody cares.
Because if your finger's already on the pulse of the industry, you've seen the announcements already. And Better Boys have already covered the shebang a month ago. Now everyone and their grandma knows that I love a good Boomer Shooter. A classic geriatric shoot bang. An elderly slaughter fest. Could I do that all day? No, those are the only 3 I got. Sorry to disappoint.
You're an idiot.
When I heard a bunch of Warhammer 40k games were coming out, I was all, oh, Warhammer, that thing for nerds and dweebs? Then those nerds and dweebs dropped this on me. It's Warhammer Boltcaster. It's a boomer shooter set in the brutal world of Warhammer 40k. I don't know much about Warhammer. I know that Space Marine was a pretty good game, and that short film...
Awesome!
And the best part, it's gonna be out next year for everything. We also found out that Goat Simulator Part 3 is a thing. They put out a trailer goofing on the Dead Island 2 trailer. Do you guys remember Dead Island 2? Witchfire, this badass magical FPS. The Callisto Protocol looks better and better. For one, it's no longer tied to the PUBG universe.
Oh, goody.
And second, it looks more Dead Space than the Dead Space remake. We'll be seeing that on December 2nd. Final Fantasy 16 is still not coming out till summer 2023, but we still got a trailer exploring the cast. Like this guy, and that thing, and her. I don't know, boys. Final Fantasy never really did it for me. I played that remake on the PSP over and over again, and I played through 7 one time to get my certified gamer card. I did want to try the Chocobo GP game, but once I found out that was a trap for microtransactions, I backed the fuck out real quick. 2 of my most anticipated games of this year, Choo Choo Charlie.
Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
We're at the Day of the Devs showcase. Devolver Digital had a show this year, and just like every year, they did a digital showcase that was a little bit cringe. This one wasn't that bad because Suda51 hosted it as a mech. And one game really stood out for me, Angry Foot. Hey, you ever wonder why they're not making a Hotline Miami 3?
Yes, all the time.
This is Hotline Miami 3, but it's first person. It's got a cool art style. You can kick things to death. The UI kind of reminds me of Super Mario Sunshine. What more do you fucking want? And I wanted to end this segment on the closest thing to best, Microsoft and Bethesda. I was real itching to see what was under Todd's leather jacket this year, and what we saw were some stuff. The best stuff in my opinion, starting with Hollow Knight Silksong.
This is gonna be good.
It's a thing. It's coming out possibly this year because everything in the conference is slated to come out within that calendar year, so we should see it before June 2022. If you've been on the hype train for Silksong since day one, you already know this news, and if you're not aware of what Silksong is, go play Hollow Knight, then get on the hype train.
Thank me later for that shit.
Some of the best weeb shit, the Persona games, are coming to the Xbox Game Pass, and everything else, but Microsoft got the announcement, so yeah. Persona 5 Royal will be the first one released on October 21st. Release dates for 3 portable and 4 golden are still unknown. If I was gonna put my guessing cap on, it'd be 2023 at the latest. You boys ever heard of Scorn? Now you have, and you can play it on October 21st. Vin Diesel, yes, Vincent Diesel is in Arc 2. Fun fact, Fallout 76 is still a thing. And yes, it still has its membership, don't worry boys. It's got a new expansion coming out, and this time we're going back to the well of previous successes because we're going back to the pit. I say we like I'm gonna play the game, I don't give a shit about 76. I tried so hard for 50 hours to like that game. It's good guys, it's fun, it's exciting. But it's not. It's as fun as organizing your emails at your grandma's funeral. But you know what's fun? Hot Wheels. Forza Horizon 5 is getting a Hot Wheels expansion. For decades, scholars have been asking the endless question, which is better, Gran Turismo or Forza? Well, the obvious answer is Forza because Forza now has fucking Hot Wheels. Diablo 4 showed off its Necromancer class, and I get it, boys. Fuck Activision, but Diablo 4. Arcane Studios' new game, which tragically is not a sequel to Prey. It's a 4-player co-op immersive sim called Redfall, and during the event they did say you can play it solo. However, the last game Bethesda said that about was Fallout 76. So if I'm gonna put any bets on Redfall, it's gonna be a grain of salt. And the biggest thing under Mr. Toward's jacket, Starfield, which is looking like a more beefed up Bethesda game, but in space. With over 1,000 planets to explore in 100 solar systems. I don't want to be that guy, but even Sean Murray's like, Todd, don't do it. Think of the kids, Todd.
For the first time in its life, the universe
just works.
Some of the more neater aspects of Starfield is the throwing it back to classic RPG systems like Oblivion. And the ship customization looks really, really cool. I can't wait to recreate the Never Die. And if you know that ship, you just gave yourself 5 nerd points. You fucking nerd. And that's everything I gave a shit about from Totally Not E3. I don't really see a clear winner, just a weird, vapid reminder of why we need traditional E3 again.
Now I gotta hug everybody. If I hug one guy and I don't hug you, I'm gonna hear about it later. So here we go. Yeah. Thank you. It's awesome. He's incredibly muscular.
Why we need the corporate cringe and gross-ass nerdlingers smelling up everywhere.
A little bit different from the weapons you see in Ghost Recon.
And those reasons to get excited about VIDJAS again. At least we have Gamescom, Tokyo Game Show, possibly Realms Deep to look forward to.
A toaster is just a death ray with a smaller power supply. As soon as I figure out how to tap into the main reactors,
I will burn the world!
Now comes the part of the video where I get to talk about Fallout New Vegas. Hell yeah. The first Mojave related thing is New Vegas Day. Leave it to a bunch of New Vegas nerds to plan an event in July in the fucking desert, and it wasn't a complete shit show. From the clips I saw online, everyone seemed to have a really good time. I wanted to go really bad, but work is a thing. I also got 2 dogs I gotta tard wrangle every day. Gotta feed my girlfriend I keep in the basement. I got commitments, boys. Well, then it's a good thing they're doing the event next year. And the other piece of New Vegas news, the cool news. Early talks of Fallout New Vegas 2, boys.
Are you fucking with me?
Made by Obsidian. Holy shit! Now let's hold our Brahmin, boys, before we get too excited. Obsidian's a gaggle of busy dorks. They got a lot on their plate right now. They're wrapping up Grounded. Avowed is a thing still. Totally Not Fallout New Vegas Set in Space Part 2 is coming out as well. So if this is a thing, it's gonna be a long while till we see it. If I could put on my prediction party hat for a second, I reckon we'll see Elder Scrolls 6 before we see Fallout New Vegas 2. However, that's not gonna stop me from speculating about it for the next 5 minutes. So if you do not want to see the equivalent of a grown man sitting on Santa's lap at the mall, skip to this time code. But if you do, here's everything I want from Fallout New Vegas 2. Big thing, don't do any of Bethesda's crap. Don't finagle with the leveling system, don't do a weird settlement mode. You just have to do a solid role-playing game in Fallout world. And I'm not too worried about this one. Everyone knows, Obsidian does what Bethesda don't. I do want dual-wielding guns in Fallout. 1, I'm a sucker for Dos Pistoles, and 2, Fallout New Vegas is a cowboy Fallout game. And wouldn't it be cowboy as shit to gun down a Deathclaw with 2 revolvers? The Outer Wilds had a mechanic where if you shot a dude in the crotch, they fell down and it was really funny and did damage. New Vegas 2 should have that. What do I want in terms of a story? If you have to pick a jumping off point from Fallout New Vegas, I feel like your best bet is going to be an independent New Vegas ending. It gives a lot of the key factions equal footing and makes it easier for new factions to slip into the narrative. And speaking of some new factions, I got some ideas for those too. Having the player join a raider faction or make their own raider gang would be a cool idea. Sort of like Nuka World, but better. Cool idea for a faction quest line. Pick a side in a war between abolitionists and slavers. Save the best faction idea for last. The Yakuza.
But Ozlo!
I hear Timmy cry out from the comment section like a bitch.
The Yakuza were never in Fallout!
Actually they were. You could get jumped in New Reno. You would know that if you're a good boy and played the classics, but you're a fucking degenerate, and degenerates like you
belong on a cross.
I clapped when I saw it!
Last thing on the New Vegas wish list for now. I don't know how you can make it work, but Mr. New Vegas needs to come back. He is the best radio DJ in any Fallout game. I will die on that hill.
It's me again, Mr. New Vegas, reminding you that you're nobody till somebody loves you, and that somebody is me. I love you.
Oh my god.
There's a fucking reason why we play Big Iron at the beginning of every one of these videos. Because it's one of my favorite games of all time, and gosh darn it, it deserves a sequel.
Oh, hell yeah, baby, hell yeah.
Now comes the part where I recommend some cool games to you boys.
Right on.
But since this is 2022 so far, I might as well give you the best games I've played this year. In no particular order, I recommend all these games very highly. First game, Tunic. Do you like foxes?
Yeah, I do.
Do you like Zelda games? Do you like not having the ability to read?
All the fucking time.
If you said yes to all of those like I did, this game's for you. It's a very charming, challenging, isometric Zelda that has a great sense of mystery to it and an even greater soundtrack.
Whoa, you listen to that?
Just on long car trips. It helps keep me awake.
Also made by one fucking dude. And I don't know if you boys and Dereks know, but over on Games Journalism Bottomm Text, we support the solo developer.
Hell yeah.
Making VIDJAS games is hard. Making them alone is probably harder. Unless you're on Dairy Sim, you can get the fuck out. Moral of the story, go play Tunic. You can play it on the PC or the Xbox through Game Pass. And if you don't have Game Pass, you can play it on Steam. Give Gaben some money, I heard he needs it. Next game, Weird West, a 5-protagonist cowboy immersive sim with a dark Lovecraftian motif throughout, and developed by former Arcane staff. Yeah, no wonder I think this is the banger. It's got some issues, the narrative's a little lopsided, certain characters get a bigger spotlight than others, and it can be a little jank around the edges, but still, a really, really good game, and you can buy it on everything but the Switch. Now, I'm not going to talk a whole lot about Blood West because I made a whole fucking video about it, so you can go check that out.
Shop smart. Shop S-smart.
Just wanted to give it some love, tell you guys to go play it, it's a good time. Same thing goes to Postal Brain Damage. Links to both the videos and the games will be in the description down below. And that's everything I gave a shit about in 2022 so far. That's it for me, boys. Thank you so much for watching. Cyberbullying is always encouraged in the comments or on my Twitter @VageSOzlo. Again, thank you so much for watching. Be safe and make good choices.